Welcome to part one of a multi-part video training series where we're talking all things wholesale using Amazon FBA. The goal behind this entire series is to go down deep, share with you step by step, really everything you need to know about either number one, starting an e-commerce business on Amazon, or number two, evolving, taking the next step in your current Amazon FBA business. You may be right now in retail arbitrage, or you may be right now in online arbitrage. You may be looking at evolving your business to the next level. So this video training, we're going to cover absolutely everything. I'm going to share with you everything from opening accounts. I'm going to share with you getting stock lists. I'm going to share with you everything you see behind me from, the pallets, the shipping, the materials, everything. We're going to leave no stone unturned. I want to really take this opportunity to help you and to support you. And if you're looking at really going that next level, making your business more serious, like you're looking at building a life-changing business, then this is going to be a really great series. Please hit the thumbs up button if you do enjoy this. Please hit the subscribe button as well if you do enjoy this. My name's Kev. Welcome to Life Success Engineer, where over the last few years, I've had the pleasure of, one, actually building my own business where we were able to quit our jobs. This is now our second warehouse. And two, I've had the pleasure of supporting many e-commerce sellers, many Amazon sellers getting started in online arbitrage. The first original sort of beginners series that I created was an online arbitrage for beginners series. That series has now got over 10,000 views. It's been watched by so many people. They've applied, they've got some actions, and what I wanted to do is really evolve that now to the next level. Because Amazon, the entire world has completely shifted this year because of the pandemic. If you think of what the pandemic did, it just fast-tracked all online businesses by 5-10 years, a whole decade, because now all businesses are forced to have an online element to it. Whether you, up until this point, have never sold online, and you're now looking at taking advantage because you can see this is the future, online is the future, or you've potentially experienced like a lockdown, you've had to shut your store, and you're looking at getting your e-commerce element of the business started, or you now want to take your business, your Amazon FBA business, to a whole new level where things get a lot more serious. You may be looking at getting into a warehouse yourself. You're looking at getting staff members yourself. You're really looking at building relationships with suppliers. So we're going to talk about absolutely everything in this video, really just taking it to the next level. So I'm really excited about this. So this first part, we're going to just do a full overview. We're going to share with you as a bird's eye view of the entire business, what wholesale actually looks like when you compare it to different business models and the things you may need to know in terms of capital, in terms of difficulty, in terms of the time it may take, the business that you need to actually have to set up from a foundational point of view to actually get started. Okay? This is super exciting. What I'm going to do is we're going to set the foundations of this. I'm going to jump into the office. I'm going to cover some foundational bits of information that you need to know at this point. But this is super exciting. So let's go do this right now. So just before we actually start setting the foundations of your wholesale business on Amazon FBA, there's some key notes for me just to share with you just before. One is everybody's in a different circumstance. So if you're just getting started, if you are truly a beginner, you've never sold on Amazon before, there's some things that we're not going to cover, such as the legal entities like business incorporation, business bank accounts, and actually setting up your account and the verification of your account on Amazon. These are the things that you just go onto Amazon, you can set yourself up an account. You may need to consider looking at what your goals are. Do you want to start a business which you actually work for? Do you want to be able to quit your job? And do you want to hire staff members, or are you a sole trader? There's many different sort of key points that you need to work out first. Okay, so we're not really going to cover that side of things. What we will cover and what we will discuss is you already got an account and now you're ready to get started, okay? So let's set some foundations. So to start with, I want to just paint this picture in terms of the business model 10-year outlook, okay? So you hopefully will see this and make it a lot clearer on what wholesale really is compared to different business models. So what you see here on screen is it's just a very simple graph, and it's time versus the difficulty and the protection that it gives you in your business. So the first business model here, and I really, up until this point, I've classed this as like phase one of any e-commerce business on Amazon. And that is you getting started with online arbitrage or retail arbitrage. These two, when you think of difficulty and protection, these two are the lowest. These are why it is really, much more easier to learn and make mistakes in these two business models, because it may not have a disastrous impact on your business. So, for example, if you're just getting started with retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, you're going to learn a lot of the basics, such as what is a winning product? What tools do you need? How to analyze Keeper, for example. And we've got the online arbitrage for beginners series down below, where we dug down deep into online arbitrage and what the business model really is. Phase one, in my opinion, is all about what are the milestones in your life and in your business. So for me personally, I was actually in a job when I started online arbitrage. So phase one, the number one priority for me was to actually get my job quit, right? Quit the job, get some time back. So I'm working for myself. Online arbitrage and retail arbitrage really does give you the potential to do that, right? The problem with online arbitrage and the problem with retail arbitrage is the difficulty is really low, right? It's very beginner friendly. The protection is really low. And what I mean by protection is, number one, you're going to have a lot more competition when it comes to online arbitrage. You're going to have to be a lot smarter and diversify. And you're working with online stores where it's business to customer focus. It's not business to business, which means that online arbitrage has a lot of difficulties in terms of some stores don't want you to buy in bulk, etc., etc. But this here is very beginner friendly, phase one. Now, if you're interested in building a big e-commerce business, and I keep saying e-commerce business is because that is what you are. You're an e-commerce seller. You're not just an Amazon seller. The long-term goal has to be that you actually build an e-commerce business. An e-commerce business where Amazon FBA is just one aspect of that. You're not an Amazon seller, you're an e-commerce seller, which means that if you do have big goals, especially when you succeed at phase one, you're actually able to quit your job. You're actually able to build some element of your business where you can get your own freedom back, where you're just working in your own business. The next phase then naturally comes to outsourcing online arbitrage as quickly as you possibly can, okay? Outsourcing this. So you've got team members, sourcing assistants, purchasing managers, as quickly and as profitably as you can. But then from a phase two, when you're really now starting to go, okay, I want to build some stability in the business, this is now where we're talking wholesale. So it's the next level of difficulty, okay? But it's the next level of protection. For example, there's a number of things here. When it comes to when you got accounts opened, when you've started to build a relationship, these are business to business. You're actually dealing with wholesale suppliers. So they want to deal with businesses, okay? Whereas stores in online arbitrage, they may not like to sell to you because you're a reseller. Whereas wholesalers do want to sell to you because that's what their business model is, okay? Protection-wise, you're actually more protected because now at this point, not everybody may have accounts opened. There's multiple difficulties or there's more requirement in opening accounts in wholesale than it is in terms of retail arbitrage or online arbitrage. Retail arbitrage, you're walking into a store, you are a customer, no account needed. You pick something up, you take it to the counter, that's it, you pay for it. Online arbitrage, all you need is your name, your address, an email address, and a payment method. Nobody's really checking up on you. Wholesale is a different ball game. Now we have the next level of difficulty when it comes to opening accounts, okay? And then a part of phase 2 is really building the next level of your business, the stability of your business that can really, right, that can really move towards an e-commerce business where you can actually bring now your business off Amazon, for example. You can build your own website. You can expand your business into different marketplaces, whether it's eBay, Shopify, you're building your own store, Facebook. There's a lot more things you can do here in wholesale, private label, than you can at online arbitrage. Online arbitrage works and it is stable because there's so many offers that are coming out all the time. On a week basis, like a week by week basis, there's so many different online stores. There's so many different products that you can purchase across many different categories, bundles, you name it. And there's always opportunity here. So there is an element of stability, but when it comes to wholesale, this now introduces much more potential in replenishing, getting the bulk, right? You can easily buy hundreds of units in wholesale. You can't when it comes to online arbitrage, okay? So just keep this in mind. This is where you may be. You may be at this point now where you're like, okay, I want to get into wholesale. And there's two things I've put here in terms of wholesale. There's wholesale general and there's wholesale exclusive. Now, wholesale general, this is the first stepping stone in terms of getting involved in wholesale. These are getting access to accounts, building relationship with wholesalers that are basically selling the same products that you're getting at online arbitrage in terms of popular goods that you can purchase, toys, groceries, you name it, health and personal care products at wholesale that you can use the same approach as online arbitrage. You're just getting it at much better prices. The wholesale exclusive, this is now gives you the potential to start working with different brands. And at some point, if you build enough relationship, you could potentially start opening some exclusive accounts at wholesale. This is where things start to get really, really exciting. Then here, obviously, the holy grail is your own brand, your own private label brand. At that point, you're obviously, hopefully, you're going to protect your own brand. You're going to build your brand, your own branded products, etc. But the whole point here in terms of a 10-year outlook is Amazon themselves, they want to have sellers, third-party sellers like me and you, they want to have us in wholesale business models, private label business models, okay? That's not to say that you can't sell online arbitrage, but in terms of what Amazon need or want in terms of ungating processes, they want invoices, they want suppliers for sellers in the wholesale model. Okay, so that's just to share with you sort of a 10-year outlook. So if you're looking at building an e-commerce business where you've got warehouses, you've got staff members, you've got lots of different relationships with different account managers, and you want to actually build your own private label business and you want to have an e-commerce business where Amazon is just a leg, then this gives you an outlook, okay? The next one is just to do a comparison, just so you're aware, a comparison between wholesale and online arbitrage. So when we compare them, let's start first, starting capital, okay? Starting capital. Now, online arbitrage, when I was starting, my first order was £50, okay? This was £50. Now, in total, I had around about, I had access to about £500-600 on credit cards at that point, okay? But when it comes to online arbitrage, because you can just log into an account, because the suppliers in online arbitrage, they are, the business to consumer, the business to customer, B2C, you can just place an order for £10. You can go into a store, retail arbitrage, £10, and as long as you got enough for a box and a shipment to Amazon, it's really, really low, right? Really low. When you compare it to wholesale, and the reality is, when it comes to starting capital to both of them, you can start with whatever you've got. The problem with wholesale is there may be, and many wholesalers, they're going to have varying sort of minimum order quantities, okay? They're going to be varying minimum order quantities. So for example, you may have a wholesaler that has a £700 minimum order quantity, or you may have a wholesaler that's got a £3,000 minimum order quantity. So when it comes to wholesale, really, the more the better, okay, the starting capital, the more the better, of course. If you've got £5,000, £10,000, £20,000 to get into wholesale, the more the better, of course. But that's not to say that you can't start when you're at maybe £1,000, maybe £500. Just know that the more money you have, the better it's going to be with both of them, online arbitrage or wholesale. Because ultimately, your goal is to buy as much products as you can, profitable products that you've sourced through, that you've reviewed, and then your goal is to just keep replenishing, keep turning over. Don't take any money out. Just snowball it as much as you possibly can. So when it comes to wholesale, you really want to be sort of medium to high. Okay, medium to high. Again, that's not to say that you can't start with low capital, but the more you've got, the better. So if you've got a budget of £1,000, £2,000, £3,000, £5,000, £10,000, that's going to be much better in a starting capital. Time, okay? Time. When you think of online arbitrage, you could, once you've got your account open, once you've got set up on Amazon that you can actually officially sell, you can start sourcing straight away. You can find enough winners today, right now. If you started your online arbitrage business, you started going through different stores, you could most likely find 10 winners, 20 winners, depending on how much experience you've got. You can find it in a relatively short amount of time, okay? We'll just call it sort of short amount of time. Because all you simply do is go to the online store, the URL, and you start sourcing. With wholesale, the chances are many wholesalers, they may have different catalogs that they're not going to give to you until you've got an account open. You're not just going to be able to go onto a website, start finding some catalogs, and start sourcing through products. It's just not the same, which means wholesale takes a little longer. It takes a lot more time compared to online arbitrage. So when it comes to sort of, I'm just going to put longer. Because if you haven't got an account opened yet, the first things we need to do is set up your business to give you the best chance to actually open up an account. We need to actually get the account opened. We need to then get the stock list. We need to go through the stock list. It's longer. It's just going to take longer. Okay, you're not going to be able to do it all in one day tonight. Location. Okay, location. What I mean by that is online arbitrage is many times started from home. It started from home because when it comes to online arbitrage, it's B2C, so they're expecting to deliver to home. They're expecting to deliver to your living room, to your dining room. That's where we started, in our living room. I'm sure you did too. But when it comes to wholesale, it helps. It absolutely does help. It's not disastrous. You can start wholesale from home, but it certainly does help if you've got a little bit more available to you. Whether that is some type of unit, whether that is, a warehouse, whether that is your prep service. Okay, so a prep service. This is one of the things that we always supporting. A part of our prep service, FBA Prep Service UK and USA, we a part of our bonuses, we will help our partners actually get accounts opened because they need, you know, where are you shipping your products from? Where is your business? So the fact that you're in a warehouse, you've got photos, you've got details, the shipping address is a unit, and it's an actual business card. This helps you in wholesale, okay? Not saying it's not impossible from home, but it helps you because we're going to talk about opening accounts, and this is where it all's going to start playing in. Accounts, okay? When you think about accounts in online arbitrage, they're easy to open. You don't need an awful lot. You need your name, your email address, you need some, you know, your home address. Super easy. Anybody can just go open an account with any supplier online arbitrage. When it comes to wholesale, it's not the same. It's not the same. You've got to set up your business when it comes to setting it up right, and we're going to talk about that too. So this is more difficult, so I'm just going to put higher. Long term, okay, long term in terms of the competition, in terms of the stability, the long-term potential of your business. When you think of online arbitrage, you're going to have much more competition on listings. You're going to have a lot more inexperienced sellers on listings. They may bring down the price. They may not know the calculations. In terms of, depending on what your goal is, if you're thinking, I want to do this for 5, 10, 20 years indefinitely, I really want to build my e-commerce business, when you think about online arbitrage, it's great as a start. Absolutely fantastic to start, but you want to transition, and that's why we're doing this series here. You want to transition to wholesale. So when you think of wholesale, the long term is it's good, you know, it's good, it's great. The long term potential, it's good. If you start having, there's no risk. Once you've got accounts opened, there's very little risk in you. The terms of service in online arbitrage, and they don't want resellers, so they cancel your online arbitrage account because they know that you're a reseller. A great example of that in the UK is Boots. They don't want us to resell their goods. Whereas long term in wholesale, because it's that next level of protection, which I shared here, there's many sellers that don't even get started here. They're going to start an online arbitrage, something a little bit easier. Whereas you, being a really serious, committed seller, you're going to be looking at wholesale or expanding to wholesale. Then finally, difficulty, you know, again, online arbitrage is much easier, very beginner friendly. You can learn and make many mistakes. You can learn and make mistakes in online arbitrage that are not going to be super costly. For example, if you place a £50 order and you get it all wrong, you just go return it back to store. If you place a £1,500 order in wholesale and you've got it all wrong, you're going to find it much more difficult. It's not as easy as just calling up the wholesale and saying, I want to return all my stock, right? The difficulty is much higher. So this just gives you a bit of a comparison on what we're doing here, and the complexity of what we're doing in terms of this training series, and just painting the picture that this is hard work, that this is going to take some time. There's more work involved in actually getting set up. So we're just setting a good foundation. So here, foundations then. When we start talking about wholesale foundations, these are some of the things that we're going to discuss in depth. And throughout this training series, we're going to dig down deeper into. So first of all, we've already covered this is business to business. You're working with a wholesaler, which means that it's, you know, the next step down the line. When you think of the supply chain from manufacturers to distributors to wholesalers, we're not buying from a retailer, a retail store online. We're now at wholesale. This is where the whole trade shows come in, the account managers come in, the relationship builds comes in. It also means you've got to set up an actual business, right? So You're going to have a bit of a story that you're sharing. Like, what business have you got? You've actually set up you're not a sole, I mean, you can, when it comes to setting up your business, you want to have a business open. You want to have, it starts to get a little bit more, VAT registration. You're really looking at, like, they want to know who you are. They want to know what your experience is. So you're going to have a bit of a story. When it comes to your foundations as well, we're going to be talking about your website, your email address, business cards, because now what we're doing is we're painting this story, we're creating this story, we're actually writing this story about your business. So when you're talking to wholesalers and you're trying to open accounts, which we're going to talk about, now they're going to be like, well, what is your name? What is your website address? What is your email? Are you Kev1979 sexy.co.uk? Whatever it is, right? Or are you like Kev or Kev at Kev's toystore.com, right? Email, business card, it's the representation of your business. You're more less established. You're presenting yourself as a bigger business. Talking about phone calls, you're actually talking to people on the phone. You're trying to get access to accounts, making the phone calls up and sharing with them, like, oh, we're interested in opening an account with you. We're interested. This is what we do. This is what we've done. So we're not going to go in depth with phone call scripts and exactly what to say, etc., because this sort of expands upon the next level of depth, a part of this video training series. But relationships, it starts giving you the potential for discounts, actually being able to negotiate discounts. And there's definitely some negotiation tips that wholesale now brings into the business. When it comes from sourcing, once you've got the stock list, things are much different. Sometimes you don't compare, or you don't have like online arbitrage where you've got a photo that an image that you can look at and you can compare. You've maybe got just a description, you've got a barcode, you've got, in terms of the prices, you've now got case prices. You've got like per price per case, or layers, or and really the sourcing becomes a little bit more difficult, because you're now like, you can't just buy one unit because it's a case of 12 or it's a case of 24, and you've maybe got to buy a layer. So sourcing becomes a bit more difficult. Replenishing becomes a lot more easier in many ways, because now once you've found that one product and the wholesaler has lots of them, you can now replenish. You can get another pallet next month, and you get another pallet the following month. Shipping can become a lot more complex, because now it gives you the potential to ship via pallets, whether that's case units, cases, but you now need to know the difference between shipping via pallets than just ordinary boxes. So this is now where you start talking about the weight of the pallets. You start talking about the height of the pallets. You start talking about different materials that you need: pallet wrap, pallet toppers. You need case labels. You need your pallet labels. There's a lot more involved when it comes to shipping via pallets. It becomes a lot more difficult than just your general sort of online arbitrage. I mean, it's just like anything. You'll learn it and it'll be absolutely fine, but just be aware that there's different ways of shipping when it comes to pallets. And not only that, the collection of the pallets, whether you've got a local distribution center service that you call up, you pay them to actually come and pick your pallet up and take it to Amazon, or you do it through Amazon themselves. There's much more deeper to actually dig down deeper into here. So that's the whole goal of this entire series that we're going to cover, right? We're going to talk about all this. We're going to talk about you setting up your business right, where to find accounts, giving you some strategies to find accounts, thinking about what you need to do to set your business up to give you the best chance of opening accounts. This is what the whole thing is ultimately all about. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to jump into the computer. I want to share with you a couple of things on the overview and all the things that we're going to discuss just to really solidify these foundations. And then in part 2 and part 3 and part 4, we're going to dig down in depth in each of these. But one thing that I will say about all this, and this is something that I get asked quite a lot, like when in my online arbitrage for beginners series, for those that wanted sort of a more premium step-by-step program, I created online arbitrage mastery, which is it's got like over a 1,000 videos at this point. I mean, we've gone down in depth, and people have said, "Oh, have you got a wholesale course?" Now, I don't have a wholesale course. I don't have one because, in my opinion, there is one wholesale course that's available, fantastic quality, and that is through Watch Me Amazon Larry, his Wholesale Academy. So underneath this video, I'm actually just going to share with you a link to some further wholesale training where I've collected lots of different wholesale videos that I've published up until this point all together, and inside there give you some feed. I'll share with you what the Wholesale Academy is all about, and then if it's something for you, then of course there's some additional bonuses that I've put in if you were interested in getting involved in the community that is built. So I'm never going to build a sort of premium wholesale course, but this is just a beginner's course. So what I'm going to do is let's get into the computer, let's dig down deeper into all this, what this actually all ends up looking like, and then I look forward to seeing you in the computer right now. Let's go. Hopefully you're enjoying this series up until this point. If you haven't already, please do give it a big thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. It will let me know that you've enjoyed this up until this point, and it will also let YouTube's algorithm know that this video has been a positive one. So if you could hit the subscribe button as well as a big thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. But just to set they really solidify the foundations of the understanding of where wholesale, you as a wholesaler on Amazon, fit into the supply chain, I wanted just to put a couple of images on screen that I've just got from Google, which will really hopefully allow you to see it visually. So this is the supply chain from a product flow, from the supplier all the way to the actual customer, right? So when you think about, you've got a supplier, you've got materials, etc. They go to manufacturers. Manufacturers are the ones that are then actually sort of creating the product, they're making the product, which then goes out to the actual wholesaler, the distributor, and the wholesaler then sells to retailers, right? And the retailers is where all the shoppers go. So the customers, the consumers, they go to the retailers. So they'll go to stores, they'll go to physical stores, they'll go on to different marketplaces online, such as Amazon, to actually purchase the goods. Right, so when it comes to right now, we've been comparing the online arbitrage to wholesale, right now, what you're doing is you're going to a retailer and finding some discount deals, some discount offers, and then you're making it available on the Amazon marketplace. And the Amazon marketplace is just a retailer. It is a marketplace where shoppers go. So the retailer is side by side with Amazon. And it's really important to know this because the retailer, by you taking advantage of different discounts, you are putting retailers at risk. And that's what online arbitrage, that's why it has many different difficulties when it comes to some retailers not liking us as arbitragers, taking advantage of price differences in different marketplaces from the retailer to the Amazon marketplace. They don't like it because what they're doing is they need to protect themselves from Amazon. So what we're doing here, a part of now going into wholesale, you're looking for wholesalers, you're looking for distributors, you're looking for suppliers that can actually supply you with goods without you having to go to retailers, which is B2C. This is B2B, okay? This is exactly the same image, which sort of, again, I got from Google, just as a sort of illustration here. You've got from your suppliers, your raw materials, goes to manufacturers manufacturers, they will then create the product, make the product, put all the ingredients together to actually make the product into reality. The manufacturer then goes to the wholesalers, where retailers, me and you, we then purchase from then wholesalers. Online arbitragers and retail arbitragers, we go to retailers to sell then to the marketplace on Amazon to customers. So hopefully you can actually see how all the flow, the supply chain actually looks. Because it's so important to know this, and it's so important to understand this when it comes to actually opening accounts from brands, from wholesalers. Because wholesalers, when you think of what Amazon's done, I've just gone onto the Amazon website, when you think of what Amazon's done, they have created one of the largest marketplaces in the entire world, where they've got literally millions upon millions of prime customers, where they will always go. I mean, I always go, you go onto Amazon, what's the price of that product on Amazon? Can I find it on Amazon? And Amazon made an amazing change when they created the Amazon Prime for third-party sellers, where we were able to ship to Amazon and make our goods available on Amazon. That's why Amazon are expanding massively. They're opening countries all the time. They're going across the globe as they already are. So understanding this, now when it comes to you presenting yourself to open up wholesale accounts, it's really important to understand what we've just said. Because now, when it comes to working with brands or wholesalers, this is why they're interested in you as a business. Let me just share with you a couple of examples. Okay, you've got, like, for example, this is the entertainer in thetoyshop.com. These guys, because they've got their own website, because they've got their own traffic, whenever they're looking for suppliers and they're looking for brands that they can build relationship with and make it available on the entertainer, the wholesaler, the brand, they are looking at, okay, am I going to do business with the entertainer? And they can go onto their website and they can see, yeah, look, these are where all the products are, and they can see an about us, and they can see terms of service and the returns and delivery options, and it's an actual retailer. The same as Walmart. You know, if Walmart wanted to do a deal with wholesalers and brands, they can go, look, we are Walmart, because look, this is we've got customers, we've got traffic, these are the types of goods that we're selling. The same as Argos, and I'm just trying to give you multiple examples here, and I'm going to share why this is super important. When you think of Argos, if I'm Argos and I'm trying to build a relationship with different suppliers, different wholesalers, different brands, saying, look, we're Argos, here you go, we're looking for this particular product. Wholesalers are looking at this, they're looking at distributors, they're looking at us as retailers, and they're seeing, okay, I've got a website, okay, there's a website. You can go onto the website, it's all functional website, you can see it's got a customer service, it's got payment options, it's got product information about Argos. Another example, you know, when you think of Hamleys toys, this is again a retailer that are just specific. They you know, obviously they sell a lot of toys. So the point I'm trying to make here is, when we start thinking about wholesale, you've got to start thinking as a retailer, not as a reseller. You've got to start thinking as a retailer, not as a reseller. So going back to this, when we start talking about building relationships, trying to open accounts with different wholesalers, it's so important to have this presence. It's so important to paint this story, to tell this story about your business. Who are you? What type of business are you? Are you a specialist in toys and you're trying to build, you know, you're building your retail toy business, your e-commerce toy business? Or are you like an Argos, where they sell lots of different products in different categories, whether that is, you know, electronics or home and kitchen, or whether it's toys and games, or whatever it might be, sports and outdoors, gardening products. What type of retailer are you? Are you just a generic retailer? When you think of, the Walmarts and the Argos, like I've just said, are you just a generic sort of retailer, or like the Entertainer being a toy retailer? Are you specialist in toys? So these are the things that you want to think about. What type of retailer story are you creating when you're actually looking for wholesale accounts? Because this is going to be super, super important as we start talking about how to find wholesalers, how to actually communicate and make contact with them, and setting yourself up so you've got some presence, you've got a story to tell, you've got a website, you've got a business card, you've got a name, you've got an email, you've got a contact us, you've got all these things. So when you're actually starting to talk with people and you start to meet with account managers and you start to call them, you start to maybe have meetings at your location, whether it's at your prep service. So one of the things that we do in the prep service here is if any of our partners need any meetings with different wholesalers, I mean, they can arrange that here, right? So this is really the whole idea here was just to set the foundations of everything we're going to talk about. So really big takeaways here is wholesale is very different. Wholesale is the next level of any e-commerce business, because this now, just like all these sites, just like Hamleys, just like Argos, just like Walmart, just like the Entertainer, you can now build an e-commerce business where you can have your own website, you can sell on a marketplace like Amazon or eBay, you can go onto Facebook and you can start to actually build. This now opens the door to actually have sales of your products external from Amazon, which is the bigger picture in your e-commerce business. Okay, so hopefully that set the foundations nicely for us to go into part 2. So part 2 is going to be all about really solidifying what you need to have in place to actually find accounts, to actually make contact in the first place. We're going to talk about lots of different strategies when it comes to actually trying to find accounts and where to look and what the different strategies may be. And then we're going to dig down deeper, and once we've actually got some accounts, we're going to go into the sourcing, we're going to go into the shipping and everything else. So hopefully you've enjoyed this part 1. If you have, please give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already, please don't hesitate to go into down below lifesuccessengineer.com/wholesale. That's going to just be some further trainings, okay? So there's some further trainings that I just wanted to quickly share with you, which is what you're going to get access to, such as, solidifying the differences in the business models, how we opened 3 wholesale accounts in 24 hours, top 10 trade show tips for opening accounts, some reviews and some lessons of trade shows that I've personally gone to, finding different exclusive brand deals. I've done some interviews right here as well, and this just really shows a lot more, and I'm going to be able to share a lot more information with you as I build this out. These are just videos that I've created in the past, as well as I mentioned, when it comes to the Wholesale Academy, I shared some really great insights on more deeper dive information on what you're going to learn here and what you're going to get access to, if this is something that you really want to go all in with in your e-commerce journey. So hopefully you're excited for this entire series. We're going to be creating these series, and I know they're much longer because I wanted to really dig down deeper into things. But my name's Kev. Let me know down below by hitting the comment sections. Let me know if there's any questions that you have, and we'll pick those questions up as we go through this series. Let me know what your thoughts have been. Please give it a big thumbs up. My name's Kev from Life Success Engineer, inspiring you every single day to keep taking massive action. Good luck in sort of expanding your business into wholesale. There's so much we can talk about, and so much we will talk about when it comes to teams, purchasing managers, your warehouse operations, how you can get yourself into a warehouse if you wanted to get into a warehouse, really just setting the potential of your business to that next level, which will, in many ways, it will stabilize your business, it will streamline your business more. When you find one wholesale account and you get one product, that can overtake so many. So just to sort of, for those that are interested in expanding, this is going to be a great series. So take care, keep taking massive action. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And until then, take care, and I'll speak to you very, very soon. Bye-bye.